Oh, I don't like when it's taller than me. Hey, Calgary has a corn maze. Oh, that looks like fun, but I'd probably be a little too scared to do it by myself. Hey, what if we did it together? Yeah? I mean, we've got to work on our cooperation anyway, and think of what a good teamwork experience it would be to escape a maze together. And your ears and nose would definitely help us get out. Oh, come on, please. Okay, what if we learned all about your nose and your ears first, and then you would know why they're going to help us get out of the maze? And I'll give you treats. Will treats help? Yeah? Okay, let's go. Come on, have our treats. Come on, treats and maze. Come on.
My name is Marina Fisher. I'm curator and instructor at Nickel Galleries, Libraries and Cultural Resources at the University of Calgary.
What is a labyrinth and how does it differ from a maze?
A labyrinth is a fascinating symbol. It is a primordial image that goes all the way from prehistory to the modern day. So just like dragons, it endures into our modern day culture. So a labyrinth is path of life, is journey of transformation, it's journey to self. A labyrinth is a single path that leads to the center and back. So it's in a way a really straightforward thing, and it's more associated with order. And maze was a concept that was more introduced in the late medieval period in Europe, and it is actually a network of paths designed as a puzzle which someone needs to solve and then also find a way. It essentially means being confused. So the labyrinth is the representation of a journey, a very positive journey to understanding the world around us. It's really from the human world to the divine world. It can be described as a spiritual journey, while the maze is more solving a problem. And in that regard, maze is also a lot more associated with chaos. One of the oldest stories that refers to the labyrinth is the one from ancient Greek mythology that talks about the labyrinth of Knossos, which was a place on the island of Crete, part of modern-day Turkey. And we are told that there was a labyrinth there under the big palace, and a monster was captured in this labyrinth, the Minotaur, half human, half bull. And when we look at the depictions of this particular myth, like on coins, for example, or different clay tablets, we often see depictions of a labyrinth, that single path. But the stories actually refer more to the maze. It's more about those dark corners and turns and finding our way and escaping evil and emerging on the other side and surviving to the other side.
My name is Jennifer Gerritsen. I have a background in biology and life sciences, and I've also read like a lot of books of science fiction, fantasy, and more recently I have been playing a lot of Dungeons and Dragons, some especially like a dungeon master, a game master. So a dungeon, like when I like dungeon master, I think of it as a fairly enclosed space that has encounters, adventures, sometimes like puzzles and enemies, but it's usually in my head, it's a situation that is relatively contained, that is going to continue on along a certain path unless the party comes in and deals with it. Often underground.
Do you want to go into a dungeon? Yeah, you want to deal with it? Do you? No, I don't want to go into any dungeons.
And then a labyrinth, for me, really has an idea that is both tied up kind of, I think, mythologically, its origin, and with the movie Labyrinth from like the 1980s. And that is, a labyrinth is a metaphor for some sort of character or personal growth. So even though it might have the trappings of an enclosed space or a confused maze, it is really a metaphor for going in one side and out the other as someone different. So a labyrinth can't be divorced from a very narrative, story, character growth, unlike those other two things.
Right. So with this difference between the labyrinth of the journey and the maze as the puzzle, or the dungeon as the enclosed system of like go in, disrupt system, get stuff, leave. What sort of monsters would you expect to see in there, and why are there even monsters in these things?
From a D&D point of view, it's expected, you know? It's a third pillar, is that there should be some combat, so often monsters are there. I mean, other than the traditional Minotaur, like, I think you can, anything you want can go in there.
I think they're there to keep them away from the reward, whatever it may be. My name is O'Darren Tobin.
I am a big sci-fi and fantasy geek, and have been for pretty much my whole life. I've been into Dungeons and Dragons for many years now, as well as playing some other tabletop games, in which I've played and been the game master for. And I'm also writing my own sci-fi narrative podcast with some friends.
As far as what monsters you would find in the labyrinth, I think of the Minotaur, of course. But for a maze and a dungeon, which I think there would be kind of similar, I think you'd expect to find monsters that are sort of attuned to the sort of area. If it's a more natural maze, hedge maze, I think is the one people usually think about. Yeah. Outside, leaves all around you. Leaves. You're trying to leave in the leaves.
Great.
I think you would find like lots of plant creatures, big Venus flytraps that eat humans, things like that. Or you'd find animals, sort of in the beast classification, if you were playing D&D.
What about for a dungeon?
Typically, most dungeons are in that sort of
underground
brick, cement walls all around you, or just cave. And so I think in that situation, you'd expect to find things like oozes and gelatinous cubes, slimes. Skeletons is a good one. Or just go for the classic monsters like goblins and kobolds.
I would just say that any type of monster that is associated with the labyrinth is there to challenge us and represent something that we need to overcome. And it is connected to Joseph Campbell's hero's journey. And it's part of the steps of that journey, which is self-discovery. So it really represents, in a very symbolic, visual way, just life. These are things that we encounter on a daily basis. Maybe we do not encounter a minotaur on a daily basis. Maybe we encounter some smaller monster that we have to deal with. But each of us has their own minotaur that in life that we have to face, that we have to overcome, that we have to go through and be brave and find the strength within to face our problems and to continue going, so that we can be wiser, we can have greater knowledge that when we exit to the other side, now we are not the same person that entered. So all of these obstacles and these monsters that we have to face transform us into a better version of ourselves.
I wonder if our first field trip will inspire Arbor to be his best self as we head off to the Calgary Fire Training Academy to meet JP Galley and Vig, the disaster search dog.
My day job is the captain of Calgary Fire. My volunteer position is with Task Force. And I'm a canine search editor. So Vig is he's 4 years old now, lab, but just super high energy, obviously. Yeah, and he's just born to search, right?
He seems to really love it.
Oh yeah. Search dog, go fight. So Vig comes from Philadelphia, Penn Vet, where they breed dogs to search and do police dogs. They've got Malinois they breed. They've got these dogs, the black labs, anything with a high drive.
When you're training him, how do you start with this? Is it scent work that you start with?
So we start, Penn Vet, what they do is it's called a puppy runaway.
Okay.
So you get the dog so when the puppy's held, you have his favorite toy, or he picks a toy out of a pile of toys, so you know that's his favorite toy. Then the person will be super excited, run away, and hide behind a cardboard box, right? So then the dog will figure out that if I find that toy, I get reward and I get that toy. When I find the person, I get the toy. And as they progress, the hiding spot gets further away. The person will not engage them first, right? So they'll just say, go find. And then they will learn how to, they associate the victim with fun, and then that's why they want to be driving. It's all a game for them, right? He doesn't really care what he's got. They just want to know that it's a game for them. They want to please us. For Vig, his alerting is barking. So when he finds someone, he barks until he gets that reward. So during training, we'll sometimes do the quarry reward. So the person hiding is the quarry. And if they have the toy, they'll hide the toy. The dog barks 10 times. He gets the toy, yes. Gets rewarded for that. I call him out, we send him again, right?
Why are dogs so good at search and rescue?
So they've got the high drive, obviously, right? And then, so we have 6 million odor olfactory cells in our nose, and dogs have 300 million.
Wow.
So they are 40 times more sensitive than us, right? They are lighter than us as well. So if you have a rubble pile or a building collapse, sending a 60-pound dog in is way safer than trying to send a 200-pound man in, right? So it just makes it way easier, way more safe for rescuers as well, and they're way quicker.
Yes.
So if we were going to search this rubble pile with technical search, so we have, the cameras, the microphones, it would take us hours, where the dog will clear this pile in 5 minutes.
Oh, look at that, Arbor. Did you hear that, Arbor? So your nose is really good, and you're nice and light. Yeah, we always say you're mostly fluff.
And they're fast, right? Find it! Come!
And when he was in the rubble pile doing the search, you were talking about how the wind direction makes a big difference.
100%. So I've got some talcum powder in my bag. I squeeze it out and you see where the scent is. So if we're upwind, he's not going to be, it won't be able to scent, right? You won't be able to find that scent. So if we're downwind, you'll see the dogs, they'll get into that scent cone. There's probably a tree in here somewhere, right? So they'll find that scent cone, you'll see them maneuver until they get that scent, and then they'll hone in it. Wherever the scent is the strongest is where they're going to go to, right? Veggie, this way.
Is that something that you focus on when you're on site? If you get called to an actual emergency,
Yeah.
you try to get wind
So again, if we can go from downwind, that's where we want to be, or upwind, sorry, we want to be in that position, let the wind work with us, instead of sending him with the wind, because now he's got to pass the scent before he can pick it up and then go back. So it's all about trying to just save him work, right?
We're sitting here at this beautiful rubble pile. What is this rubble pile?
So this is our training rubble pile. It's kind of engineered to be safe, right? So we've got all these culverts going deep into the rubble pile where we have different void spaces. So we'll either use this for the dogs to go find, or we put victims in and we'll have to breach through to get it. So we'll send the search team. The dog will go and say, yes, there is a victim. He's found water in the thing. He's just going to cool down in there. So yeah, we'll send the dog in. They'll find the victim. We'll mark it as, yes, there's a victim here. We'll send the tech search in to confirm that there's a victim. And then we'll start getting resources in to break concrete and get, the victim rescued. So.
And you mentioned you were training for a certification.
Yes.
What's the certification?
So the US certifies the dogs every 3 years. Canada requires certification every year. There's an obedience aspect of it, there's an agility aspect of it, and there's obviously the search aspect of it. Right, so we have a whole agility course he's got to go through, and he's got to be able to, it's a balance beam, it's through tunnels, it's over unstable surfaces, it's upstairs or ladder, it's on a wobbly board at height. There's all these different things he's got to be able to process by himself, kind of thing. The obedience is where he's got will have 2 dogs, and he'll have to do figure eights around the 2 dogs without interacting with them.
Oh, that's why he's so good at ignoring Arbor.
Like he doesn't, and again, he doesn't, like right now, we're on the rubble pile, all he wants to do is play, search, right? When he's working like that, all he wants to do is work. So, and then the search is for level 1, is the first section is you have 1 to 3 victims, 1 to 4 victims on a rubble pile. And if you miss a victim, you've got to be able to find those victims on the pile in a certain amount of time. Yeah, he's just cruising in the cold water.
He's circling the inside of the tire. Wow, that was super impressive. If Arbor has a super sniffer like Vig, he can probably sniff our way out of the maze. I wonder what makes mazes and labyrinths so hard to escape anyway. What makes labyrinths and mazes so hard to escape?
Well, all of these wonderful creatures we've discussed.
All these monsters.
Yeah. And also, like, they are, I think they're built to be hard to escape. You know, that's the thing. I guess it depends. You know, if escape just means I have to turn around and go back, then maybe it's a little bit easier, especially for a dungeon, usually. But even then, for a maze, say, if you're deep in the maze, unless you've been keeping track, like in the myth for the labyrinth, then it's going to be hard to find your way out. Like, that's a part of that myth, actually, has the way out by following the thread. And that's because the thing that I think usually killed people in the myth is that even if they can get to the Minotaur, which I think they usually just die if they do, but even if they could, like, Minos is like, but you're never going to get out because it's a giant maze. And so unless you have a way to follow your breadcrumbs back.
Yeah, like Hansel and Gretel.
Yes, exactly. Then I think that's a problem for leaving. Sort of a doomed if you do, doomed if you don't.
The problem with labyrinth and being inside a labyrinth or a maze is that lack of a big picture. So we are stuck in this moment that is completely disconnected from the linear time and dimensions and space. So the only way to truly be able to escape a labyrinth or a maze is to rise ourselves, to actually climb the walls, the metaphorical walls of these structures and look at towards the exit. This is something that I also find particularly important, and that is often neglected in our modern day life, is understanding of the big picture. Because we often focus on details and minor things. But if we step back and look at our whole life from afar, it will look completely different, and we would experience it in a very different way.
So very much like can't see the forest for the trees.
Yes, exactly.
If you were ever trapped in a maze, what would your strategy be to get out?
Okay, so we're talking like a physical one.
A physical maze.
It's always good advice, turn left. Just keep turning left.
And just eventually you'll discover.
You'll get out.
I mean, it's a good logical way to get out of an illogical situation.
Yes.
As long as the maze doesn't change.
Right?
That's a
That's a
different kettle of fish.
That's a labyrinth.
That's a labyrinth.
The thread is a good one. Hansel and Gretel your way through.
But with an edible or a non-edible thing?
So that's why thread is maybe good, because
Yeah.
like even if it's not a monster, like there's probably mice.
Yeah, like rats. Yeah.
You know, not dangerous creatures that if you leave breadcrumbs, are gonna be like, hell yeah, dinner. However, you probably need a long piece of thread, which I think I've heard people talk about with the labyrinth myth as
how
well.
long?
Yeah, like how long was that like ball of yarn she gave him? That's crazy. How did he sneak that past Minos? He's like, what? Anyway, yeah, I think that's a pretty good one. Otherwise, I'd say like don't lose hope. Like I think that's like probably like the biggest one is like if you give up, then you're not gonna get out.
Yeah.
Right? Like period. If you just sit down and give up, you're not gonna get out. But as long as you keep moving forward, maybe you get out, maybe you don't. You know, yeah.
Do you think having a dog with you in a labyrinth or a maze would help you escape?
Absolutely. Number one, companionship of any kind is going to be nice. Like giving up is a lot easier to do when you're all alone.
Right.
But if you have a little companion with you to keep you going, that's great. And I think dogs have a bunch of senses that are going to help you as well. But I think it would require a lot of trust in that dog, especially. They also move faster than we do. If it's a dog that could leave you behind, it might.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on that. Do you think that having a dog with you would help you escape?
Oh, 100%. Okay, because if you're looking at Labyrinth as a journey of personal discovery in a world that may not be fair, which is also a quote from Labyrinth, right? Yep. Having a companion is A1. That is the #1 rule of getting through labyrinths in real life and in fantasy, is having a companion you can trust.
Gotta say, I'm heartened to hear that a furry companion would help me stay calm in the maze as well as getting out. To that end, it's time to learn about another of Arbor's super senses, so let's head back to Bianca at the Center Street Vet Clinic.
My name is Bianca Kumar. I am a veterinarian assistant, like technician assistant, and I also help up in reception as well.
Thanks for meeting with us again. We're back because we're gonna go into a corn maze, and we're gonna try to navigate our way out of it using Arbor's sense of smell and his hearing.
Nice.
So I was wondering if you could give me any, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, I know. We're both a little nervous about the corn maze. So if you could give me any insight into what dog hearing is like, and can I trust it in the corn maze?
Yeah, so when it comes to like dog hearing versus like human hearing, human hearing, we can hear lower frequencies better. So our range is about 20 to 20,000 hertz, whereas for dogs they hear a higher frequency pretty well. So they hear about 40 to 60,000 hertz pretty well. Yeah, so they can hear quite a bit of a wide range there. They hear about 1 kilometer out, so pretty far out they can hear.
Yeah.
And their ears are pretty directional, so you'll notice like as he's hearing sounds and stuff, his ears will kind of shift towards where they're coming from, and he kind of just registers them that way and kind of reacts based on what he can hear there.
Okay, so you're saying that I probably can trust his hearing to help us out of the corn maze?
Yeah, I'd say you probably could.
Okay, great. Well, I have a little test, if we can do that you can participate in as well. I have a tone generator.
Okay.
So I was going to play it in different ranges and see if we can hear it and if he can hear it.
That
Sit.
sounds good to me.
Sit. He's very interested in not participating in this though. No, stay up. Okay, so this is 85 hertz. Can you hear that one? Okay, I can hear that one. I know humans, we lose our frequency like 20 to 20,000, I think, is when we're really young, and then as we age, we lose some of those frequencies.
That would make sense.
Okay, let's go up to 200.
I can hear that.
You can hear that one? Okay. You can hear that one? Okay, good. All right, we'll go up to 1,000. We'll do a big jump.
I can hear that.
No, he doesn't care about that one. Okay, we'll go up to 5,000.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
Can
great.
hear that one.
That's great. He's not reacting to it at all, which is interesting. 10,000.
Oh.
Oh, reacted to that one. 15,000. That's like that annoying sound that electronics make.
And it's like you can hear it in the back of your head sometimes.
Yeah, you think you're losing your mind?
Yes.
Okay, and then 20,000. I've lost that one.
I can't hear anything there.
You hear this one? No. I think he's more interested in the fact that there's other animals in the vet clinic.
There's many other sounds that he's interested in.
But you know, that was a good test, and we learned some really good information. So, Arbor, you ready to go face a corn maze? Yeah. Should we go? I guess we have to go to a corn maze.
That's the only way to figure it out.
Thank you so much. Okay,
No
let's go,
worries.
buddy. Let's go this way. All right. So if Arbor can focus his super sniffer and his super hearing, I think we might have a pretty good chance to make our way through the maze. But I do wonder what sort of traps or tests might be waiting for us in there. If you were designing a maze or labyrinth to be challenging, what would you put in it?
Yeah, I've always found a lot of success with my DMing with puzzles more so than monsters. If you give your party a monster to fight, they'll typically squash it unless you're being a mean DM.
Right.
But if you give them a riddle, they'll argue about that for hours, and then they'll still get it wrong. So I think that's usually the best kind of puzzle. And particularly if you're challenging a group of people, I think splitting them apart, not necessarily physically, but like socially, is a good way to break them up. Which and make them fail.
If I was making a labyrinth inspired encounter or situation in a game, I would tend to be fairly influenced by both like Henson creatures, Jim Henson, and traditional fairy tales. And so I tend to think that because often that journey through the labyrinth brings people in touch with like the Fae, like with this whole other kind of folkloric world traditionally, and that's what Jim Henson was tapping into too. I like the idea of having magic users that occupy or create labyrinths, so like, you know, the Goblin King in the movie, but also other sorts of magic users that are influencing what's happening in the labyrinth itself. So there would be some sort of like psychological bent to what I would put into a labyrinth encounter, as well as knowing what a character's fears are in character and respectfully introducing those terrors into it, so that it's something that they, much like, hey, if we talk about Jedi again, like going underneath the tree to confront your father, who is, I'm going to spoil the Star Wars, you know, who is also your biggest enemy, that sort of thing. So I would incorporate very character-focused kind of traps and puzzles and choices. Yeah, pulling from that well, as opposed to scary monster, like I wouldn't put a dragon in a labyrinth, or trying to think of like just other sort of typical, I wouldn't put an ooze in.
I always think of mimics.
Mimics, I might
They're
put a
fun.
mimic.
I love mimics.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
a real sucker for a mimic.
Yeah, I love, so mimics, absolutely. I would put a mimic in there, but I would tend to put things that have always a touch of whimsy in them. That's probably my influences.
style.
Yeah.
And if someone was designing a maze or a labyrinth to trap you, what sort of traps or monsters do you think they would put in there?
Moral dilemmas, difficult questions. I could sit there forever, just, you know,
Like existential crisis.
right? I'm a little bit like a vampire. You toss some small items in front of me, I'm gonna have to sit down and count them. That's an old vampiric lore.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Which is maybe the origin for why the Count in Sesame Street likes to count.
He doesn't like it, he's compelled to.
Compelled to. So yes, Jennifer trapped in Labyrinth would have to sometimes deal with her desire to sort and count things. So that would be a good one to put in there for me.
Probably, I feel like the psychological thing works on who, if it's tailored for me, for sure, that's gonna be awful. But, you know, put some monsters in there, I can't fight a monster. I took like a bit of keto as a kid, that's it. So I'm not winning a lot of fights. I'm chronically ill. Yeah, but you know what? Actually, yeah. Put like a test of like a test of constitution.
Got constitution tests.
Yeah.
Lots of monsters would definitely get you.
Yeah. If you make me fight a monster, I'm gonna die. 100%. Even a little monster, like a little ooze, I'm gonna. Well, number one, I wouldn't want to kill a little ooze. I'd probably find it cute. But if it's all combat encounters in my labyrinth, I'm doomed. Yeah.
It's good to know.
Yeah. What are you saying like that?
Nothing. Cut camera. That was a fun joke. But as we head into the corn maze, O'Darren doesn't have anything to worry about since it's me who has to face their fears of monsters in the dark. Although I did ask him to do this walk through the farmyard on his own while Jeff and I set things up. Sorry, O'Darren. Misery loves company. Arbor and I are here at the Calgary farmyard, where we are going to attempt to navigate the corn maze. Now, we're going to be relying on Arbor's ears and nose, as we learned from our experts. Dogs have really good senses of smell and really good hearing, so he should biologically be able to lead us out of the corn maze. I had to put this this nice thermal shirt on underneath my awesome Maze Runner Neon Arcade game shirt from Geek Tropical because it's ultra soft and lightweight and moisture wicking, which means it's not super warm, but it's really nice and it's really cozy and comfy. And I'm stalling because I'm scared. Are you scared, Arbor? That's a strong vote of confidence. Should we go? No time like the present. Let's go. Come on. Here we go. Oh, the corn immediately. Okay, this way. Oh, it's scary. I do not like the sound of rustling corn. At least I can see over it. You can't see over it. Ah! There's a cat!
You scared me.
I just saw the eyes are so reflective. Oh. Okay, no, we're not going for the cat. Nope, we're not chasing the cat. We're going this way. Come here. Okay. Stay here. Stay. Oh, this is a loop. It's okay, we'll throw Arbor off by going in circles. Leave it. I almost went right back in the loop. Oh, the nerves. This way. Oh, there's a shadow. Oh, I don't like when it's taller than me. Like all our experts were saying, I'm facing my fears. This is, if someone wanted to design something for me to get stuck in, corn maze at night would be pretty scary. I have to learn to trust. I have to learn to trust Arbor. Camera on, Jeff! Okay, Jeff, we're gonna try to make our way back. Start trial! I was supposed to wait for him to be in position. Do you hear it, Arbor? He seems to hear something. Okay. Are we running? We can't run. The camera's gonna be such bad quality. Okay, don't go towards the dogs.
Oh, it's like a trap.
Yeah. Yeah. If designing a maze to trap Arbor, you put dogs in it and a cat. This has actually become quite a labyrinth of a trial instead of a maze. Where are you going? Do you hear it? Let's go. Which way? That's amazing! He heard you and he went right into the speaker. You did so good! Okay. I'm amazed. Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure, and then I said the thing, but I didn't know if you heard me, and then I was like, but then his ears perked up, and I was like, Jeff might have started squeaking it, we couldn't hear it, but if you started squeaking, because his ears like perked right towards this direction, he followed the sound all the way back.
And then, as we discussed the experiment, we saw the most amazing sight, the Aurora Borealis.
That's bonkers. This planet's cool, man.
I'd wanted to see the aurora my entire life, and I was blown away by its beauty. I was so inspired and filled with trust in the universe and in Arbor that I decided to try the maze again with just Arbor and I this time. And that is when this happened.
Arbor! Where'd you go?
Arbor, you made it! Arbor, come here, Arbor! Oh, good boy! Come on, Arbor! Good boy, good boy! His dad. Where's Sarah? You're supposed to get Sarah. Come on! Oh, you gotta get Sarah. Come on, Arbor, you gotta get Sarah.
Arbor, you're back!
He found me!
He came back to me!
You're back! You're back!
Oh, I was so scared. He left. He ran off. He found me in the end. I guess all I need to make sure that I don't get abandoned in a corn maze is a squeaky toy and treats.
It's a good life lesson.
Good life lesson. You're never alone if you have a squeaky toy. You know, I wasn't sure there for a minute, but thanks for coming back to get me. I guess I really can trust you. What a journey that was. From seeing the aurora borealis, to facing my fears and lurking monsters, to learning that I could put my trust in you. I really learned a lot about myself. No, I guess that makes this more of a labyrinth than a maze, eh? Well, how about you? Did you learn anything about yourself? Well, thanks for coming back for me anyways. Oh, he just peed on your rubble pile.
That's okay. That's as long as you don't poop in the rubber pile.
Okay.